When you clearly don't work somewhere, but people seem to think you do. Welcome to this episode of I Don't Work Here, Lady. Our first one is from Tabby Kitten 99. When I was 15, I went to see the national touring production of Cats, and since I was a big fan, and I'd never seen it before I went in costume, which was a trend for Cats fans, I wanted to get pictures with the actors after, and I thought it would be more fun in costume. I was waiting in the lobby for the show to start, and a lot of people asked to take a picture with me. I said yeah because I was a passive teenager who wasn't great at saying no. They probably thought I was a cast member because my costume was mostly accurate. But then a man came out and started telling me I had to get backstage. I wasn't allowed out in the lobby before the show, and I shouldn't have been taking pictures with people. I was really confused, and then he realized I wasn't one of the actors in the musical, just a kid in a costume. He was the tour manager. He was really lovely and said if I came back the next night, he would give me a tour of the stage, which he did. I got lots of cool photos and autographs with the cast and talked to the crew as well. It was a wonderful experience for a nerdy kid and probably the best I Don't Work Here outcome you could have. I'd say compared to most I Don't Work Here stories, yeah, that outcome was fantastic, and it sure beats having a Karen freaking out because you actually don't work somewhere. This next one is by Bildor69. Shopping at the local Big Red Circle store, I overheard a lady trying to decide which Wi-Fi router she needed. Seeing no staff around and she was getting a little upset, so I went to help her out. Asked a few questions: ISP, modem, how many users' devices, how does it get used, and it seemed clear that she should get a certain model. Told her which one and why it would be the best fit. Meanwhile, a staff member walked up and asked if he could help. He didn't ask any qualifying questions to understand her needs. She's standing there with the router in her hand to put it in the cart, and he says, you don't need that one. Get this cheaper one instead. She looks at him in his red shirt, and then at me in my casual business clothes, and then at the price tags. Slowly put the router I recommended and picks up the other one, with a look of, I'm doing the right thing, on her face. I said, well, I don't work here, so I'll let him help you now. And off I go. Heck, maybe I'm wrong. I've only done IT for 15 years. Don't know what happened after that, but I did end up seeing that cheap router open boxed on the clearance end cap a few days later. One thing I don't get is cheaper isn't always better, and in the case of this employee, I feel like that's where their mentality's lying. Instead of asking the questions to make sure that they cover all of their needs, they just hustle the cheapest price. This next one is from Carl Fox 1983. It's been years since the last time I had to answer no to "Do you work here?" But this one feels a little far-fetched. Phone formatting apologies to begin. To give some scene-setting info, today I wore a three-piece charcoal gray suit with a black bow tie to work. That's another story. But we got a new pup yesterday, and there were a couple things I was asked to pick up on my way home. I'm holding a couple of dog brushes and trying to make up my mind on a new toy for my dog. While not really paying attention to my surroundings, a little old lady walks up to me, tiny dog in tow. Pardon me, do you work here? No, sorry. I'm Canadian, and she gives me the most heartbroken, oh, that someone could deliver to that answer. Made me feel bad enough that I found an employee for her, but I couldn't imagine the pet stores she may have visited in the past that the uniform would have passed for black tie optional. While you may not have worked there, you went above and beyond to try to find an employee that did to assist her, and for that, kudos to you. This next one is by Jizzcatcher. In the times before a personal issue happened in November, I, 17 female, worked at a local hobby store named after an archangel. I stocked shelves, cleaned up after people that tried all the markers on anything nearby and would leave them in whatever cuppy was in reach, and I would cashier a few nights a week, making the big money to afford my daily girly needs. I quit working there because of the personal issue. This past Monday, I went in there to get some art supplies for a project the therapist recommended and to see how I feel about going back out into the world. I was dressed in a large black baggy hoodie and baggy sweats, nothing like an employee. My earbuds were in but not on. They dull the noise but don't completely make it silent. I heard the click 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 of someone wearing heels, a distinctive sound. The sound stopped and I could see a shadow darken me as I looked at the drawing pads. My heart started speeding up and I was beginning to sweat. Then she said those words, "Excuse me?" It wasn't dripping with contempt, yet. "Yes?" I say back. "Where are the little painting cups to paint the porcelain Christmas villages?" She did ask nicely. I tell her I don't know and she got mad. "You do know where they are, so where are they?" I step back and begin to shake. "I don't know. I don't work here." "Yes, you do. You helped me find stuff last Halloween. Quit lying to me and tell me where the paints are." I begin to have a panic attack. It's been 6 months since I worked here and the store's been rearranged. "Oh my god, you kids are so lazy. You think that because there's a worker shortage, you could just do what you want and not get fired for mouthing off to customers? I'll show you how fucking wrong you are when I get to your manager and get you fired." I dropped the supplies I was holding and turned to leave. I'm not crying. I just want to be away from this crazy lady. Then she grabs me. As I'm spun to her face again, she shoves her finger in my face and the screeching is piercing even with the headphones on, and things went black. When I came back to reality, I was being checked on by paramedics. A few police officers were standing around with the lady in handcuffs screeching, "I didn't do anything to her. She's just crazy. I can't believe this place hires crazy bitches." I ended up going to the hospital. The lady is being charged with assault. I'll find out more in the future since this is just a few days old. What happened to me? I read the statements from the police report and from what a few former coworkers told me. When she grabbed me, I fell to the ground, going into the fetal position, whimpering that I don't work here, I don't work here, I don't work here. Some customers saw what was going on and got the manager. Someone else called 911. The lady just stood there with her mouth fish gaping and repeating, "I didn't touch her." After a night in the hospital and a visit with my therapist, I'm home and waiting for a delivery from Amazon with supplies I went to get. I'm glad the world is homebound friendly these days. When I was younger, I was told, don't put my hands on other people unless I want them to put their hands on me. When I was even older, I was told that just basically poking somebody constitutes as assault if somebody really wants to push the issue, so keep my hands to myself. I don't understand people like this Karen, who honestly think they can touch somebody and not have any form of repercussion. And our final one is from Dramatic Tofu. I wear a lanyard keychain around my neck to ensure I don't lose my keys. In almost every store I visit, regardless of my attire, someone always asks me for directions to products. 90% of the time, I have no idea where the product is. In those instances, my answer is always something like aisle 6, bottom shelf, or go straight and take a left. If I know where the product is, I'll take the time to either bring the other person to that said item or give detailed directions to it. Edit 1. My lanyard does have ID badges attached to it, but I'll never wear clothes that make me look like an employee in any store this happens in. In the past, I have had many people get mad at me for telling them I do not work at the stores. Some never believe me. I find it easier to just give people directions so they'll leave immediately. Edit 2. I did not mean for this post to offend anyone, though everything seems to be offensive to someone on the internet. My apologies. Edit 3. Some of the people commenting on this post tend to think that I'm bothered by people asking me for help at the store. It does not bother me to be asked. I'm simply telling you what I wear, why I wear it, and how to respond to people that ask for help without observing or asking if I work at the establishment. Edit 4. The IDs on my lanyard are blank, just scanners. One is technically a train pass with nothing but the train pass logo on it. My guess is they see the lanyard keychain around your neck, see the ID, and just automatically assume you're an employee without really doing any further research. My only thing would be, don't direct people to the wrong areas, just tell them you don't work there so that way you're not wasting their time. Alright, that's enough stories for the day. Well, that wraps up this episode of I Don't Work Here Lady. If you liked the video, please drop a like, share my content on all of your social media, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure to hit that bell so you're notified every time I upload, and drop a comment down below. It really helps with the algorithm and helps new people find my channel. Thanks for watching, thanks to my patrons, have a great day and stay safe out there.